All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're exploring a really fascinating idea that might just flip the way you think about giving completely on its head. We're going to dig into how a simple act of generosity can actually be the greatest gift you give yourself.
You know, we've all been there, right? Sometimes you help someone out and you feel amazing, just full of energy. But then other times you give your time or your energy and you just feel drained, totally empty. So what gives? That is the exact question we're going to unpack.
Well, it really boils down to two completely different ways of looking at giving. On one hand, there's this idea of giving as loss. You know, the feeling that your resources are limited, that your cup is emptying out every time you give something away. But then there's this other kind of radical idea, giving as gain. The notion that giving can actually refill your cup. And that, right there, is the game-changing idea we're exploring.
So to really get a handle on this, we're going to look at a specific teaching called the mirror principle. It comes from lesson 316 of A Course in Miracles. And hey, no matter what your background is or where you're coming from, the psychological and emotional insight here is, well, it's just incredibly profound.
This is the core idea, the whole thing in a nutshell. All gifts I give my brothers are my own. Just sit with that for a second. What it's really saying is that giving is never a one-way street. It's more like a mirror. Anything you put out there to someone else, you're also, at the exact same time, giving it right back to yourself.
Okay, so how on earth does that even work, right? Well, it's all built on this concept called the principle of unity. The basic thought is just we're all connected. We're not as separate as we might think. And because of that deep connection, when you give something like love or compassion or forgiveness, it doesn't just go away. It kind of bounces back, it echoes, and it actually strengthens that very same quality inside of you.
And this right here is the huge shift in thinking. We stop looking at giving like it's some kind of transaction. I give you this, so now I have less of it. Instead, giving becomes this amazing, transformative practice. It's a way to heal our relationships, for sure, but maybe even more importantly, it totally changes how we see the world and ourselves.
All right, so that's the big idea, the theory. But what does this actually look like day to day? Let's get practical and break down a few real-world examples to make this crystal clear.
We're going to zoom in on three key areas where you can really see this principle come to life. Everyday acts of kindness, the sometimes tough one, forgiveness, and just simple, genuine affection. Okay, first up, acts of kindness. Super simple. Imagine you're helping a friend move on a Saturday, or maybe just lending an ear when they're going through something tough. The gift to them is obvious, right? You're helping out. But here's the mirror part. What's the reflection? By doing that, you're feeding your own spirit. That feeling of joy, that sense of purpose, that's the gift you're giving to yourself in that moment.
Now, this idea gets really, really powerful when we talk about forgiveness. Because we usually think of forgiving someone as a gift we're giving them, right? Like we're letting them off the hook. But with the mirror principle, when you choose to release that resentment, the reflection is immediate, and it's for you. You are literally freeing yourself from carrying around that heavy, toxic negativity. So in a way, forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-care.
And last but not least, let's talk about affection. When you give a genuine compliment, or tell someone you love them, or just show you appreciate them, yeah, you're making them feel good. Of course. But the reflection? You're actually reinforcing your own capacity for love and your own sense of self-worth. You're reminding yourself, hey, I am a source of love. And that is an incredibly empowering thing to feel.
Okay, so understanding this is one thing, but how do we actually start living it? How do we put it into practice? Well, that's what we're diving into next. I've got a simple toolkit with 3 daily practices you can start using right away to make this a real part of your life.
And don't worry, these are super simple, totally accessible things. We're talking about a quick meditation, setting an intention for your day, and doing a little gratitude journaling. Each one is like a little workout for your brain, training it to see giving in this completely new way. So here's how they work. With the meditation, you just visualize offering a gift. Maybe it's kindness, maybe it's patience, and you just pay attention to how that feels inside you. For daily intentions, it's about making giving a conscious choice. You wake up and decide, today my gift will be to really listen. Simple. And then with gratitude journaling, you kind of flip the script and start noticing all the gifts you've received. This really helps you see that beautiful two-way street of giving and receiving.
All right, so we've covered the what, the why, and the how. We've gone through the big idea, seen how it works in real life, and even got some practices to try out. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final powerful question, something you can really carry with you.
And this isn't just a question to think about for a minute and then forget.
It's really an invitation to stop seeing your cup as something that can be emptied and to start recognizing that every single act of generosity is proof that your cup is and always has been overflowing. Thanks so much for joining me today.